Hi everyone, Fraser here from the Most Dangerous Podcast. If you've been enjoying the show, don't forget to subscribe and leave us a review. It really helps us to reach more people like you who love the show. Also, you can follow us on Instagram at The Most Dangerous Pod and join the conversation on Facebook at The Most Dangerous Podcast. For those of you who want to go the extra mile, we're on Buy Me a Coffee. So if you'd like to support the show with a small donation, it would mean the world to us. And if you have any suggestions or feedback and want to get in touch, you can email us at jamesandfraserpod@gmail.com. Thanks for listening and enjoy the show.
Right, yeah, let's get a move on because we've got to order a takeaway.
Hello, welcome back to the Most Dangerous Podcast. How are you, James? Last one of sins.
I know, it's been tough, this one, I think.
It has.
It's been like, because it's quite religious, so when you kind of look the stuff up, it's all about like, what would God think about this? And that's not really the angle that we were really going for. So I'm sort of glad that it's coming to an end. I'm glad that we've done it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought this is one of the tougher ones for me personally. I don't know how you felt.
I think it was all right, but I feel like I can't be arsed tonight. Neither can you. Let's rattle out and get to bed.
I think so, yeah.
If we can make it good enough to be listened to.
It's an extended series, isn't it? So I think, we were expecting to do 4, but we ended up doing 7, which is a bit annoying. But I'm sort of proper in the January blues swing of things as well. Like, it's just grim, isn't it? Like cold and dark and damp, and I'm just like, ugh. Sick of life.
Yeah. Phoning people like British Gas saying, is there any chance I can just pay you next month instead? It's great fun. I've just seen the sad news that Denis Law's passed away.
Denis Law? What, the footballer?
Denis Law, yeah. He regularly voted the greatest ever Scotland player.
Yeah.
But I kind of, when I say I knew his daughter, I've done a lot of work for his daughter, so I've met him a couple of times. But by that point, he had his dementia and stuff. So is that the guy that played for United, then got them relegated when playing for City for scoring for them? Possibly, I don't know. He played for Torino. He played for Man. He's a Man United legend. He was the trinity of Law, Charlton, and Best.
I want to check because I don't want to do him a disservice here.
But rest in peace, Dennis.
Yeah. Sorry, sad news. Let me just.
Let's see if you fucked your old team.
Man, played for United and City.
Yeah,
I think he relegated United.
Did he?
I think so. I'll have. I don't know. I think so.
Yeah. Anyway, so for people across the shore, he was a footballer. Don't worry about it. I messaged you this week, and you never actually responded. We are now nearly bigger in America than we are in the UK.
Are we?
Yeah. So I'm loving this American following. Thanks very much.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
Ripping on them.
No, we love Americans, and that's not even. I'm not being sarcastic. I've been a few. I've been to New York, been to Texas. You've been a few times as well, haven't you?
I've been. Yeah, I love it over there.
I do. I really like New York. Was brilliant. Houston is where I went. That was fantastic as well. It's just another. It's so weird how it's such a big place, isn't it? And like New York is so different from Texas, and I suppose it's the equivalent of like London to Milan almost. You know, that's
it.
Isn't it? So,
I was just going to say, to refer to someone as American is like referring to someone as European, isn't it?
Exactly. Yeah. But anyway, well, thank you guys. Carry on listening. We hope you enjoy the content and stuff like that, and you can always donate. If you want.
I've not fixed it yet. People can't find us and Buy Me a Coffee, and I've emailed Buy Me a Coffee to say, why can't people find us? We're on there, and I can put a link on Facebook, and you can click on the link and you can donate to us. And I must say at this point, before I forget, very big thank you to Bill, who sends us lovely emails, and he bought us a coffee.
Oh, Bill. So, thanks, Bill.
Thanks, Bill. Yeah.
Appreciate it.
All helps. We'll put it to good use.
Well, we'll buy a coffee, obviously.
Yeah. But But yeah, so for some reason you can't find us and buy us a coffee. But if you want to, you can find the link to buy us a coffee on Facebook.
A check will do. Yeah.
Check, yeah. Just some bullion.
Million.
Bullion by post. Order some bullion by post. Thank you.
Begging for money. That's not good look, is it? Anyway, so what we did today, just gluttony, isn't it, the last one?
Gluttony, as we described last week, big, greedy, fat bastards.
Yes, yeah. So we've got, and we're doing something a bit different, aren't we? Because it was 7 episodes, as you listeners know, we do one each per week, we alternate. Whereas because there's 7, we've come to the end, we're going to do something a bit different, where we've both got a couple of stories. Well, Fraser's got some stories, and I've got a few things to chip in with.
Yeah. Great. Glad you're prepared. What I've done is I haven't got, like, we've usually got a big story, the big event for the podcast. I haven't got that. I've got 3 little stories. So.
Okay, cool. Yeah. So, yeah.
We should have discussed this beforehand. Do you want me to do 1 or 2 and then you do yours, then I do one?
Well, this is the thing, isn't it? We probably should have discussed this because some of your stories might be my stories, you see. So
I know. I thought about that, and then I thought that would be good because we could see who does it better.
Well, you, because mine are literally newspaper articles. You go first then.
I'll go first. So I just wanted to briefly talk about gluttony. So gluttony is just basically filling your face with food, isn't it? It's not someone that's a bit chubby because, they eat too many pizzas during the week. This is like gluttony's just like, I imagine, do you remember, like, can you think back to like the old, like the Roman sort of emperors just lying back in the chair with all the food around them, just
eating the grapes,
their face,
things like that. I know, yeah. I did read it's not exclusively just food though. It also
is it not?
It's drink as well.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Which kind of comes hand in hand.
I guess so. Yeah.
Yeah. Drinking. I was reading about stories. I was looking for stories where someone ate like 42 boiled eggs and died and stuff, but. A lot of the stories actually said that there's like the beer munchies. You go out drinking and you've got to have a kebab and chips on the way home and stuff like that. So often drink can lead to gluttony, and of course smoking weed. I'll never forget. Not something I did very often, but I went with my mother and my auntie to an REM concert, ate a couple of hash cookies, and my uncle picked us all up in his car, and he had a huge bag of the really hot Doritos.
Oh yeah.
And I sat in the boot of the Range Rover all the way home. Like a 30-minute drive. Ate the whole thing. Yeah.
Yeah, it was good those days. I used to eat my mum out of house and home. I created my own delicacy. Do you know Dairy Squares? Mm-hmm. It's like processed cheese, isn't it? It's really like kind of nice and creamy. And what I'd get is the processed ham as well in the packets. Oh yeah. So you get like a couple of slices of that and just put a Dairy Square in it and just squeeze it and then wrap the ham up like a cigar and just have that. Nice. That's like the proper stoner like satisfaction.
I was listening to do you want to say Friendsverse, the Lads Anonymous podcast.
Oh yeah.
And one of them was telling a story about he had a chicken burger. It was something else. I'm trying to remember, something like a bird's eye potato waffle and a Chicago town pizza all in a roll after like a heavy night. So like a pizza, a chicken burger, and something else.
See those Chicago town pizzas though? I don't know, like you can't do them in the microwave anymore, mate. Like
crap, not the same.
If you do them in the oven, they're nice and they're proper like but they're not proper Chicago town though, are they? That's
1.5 in the microwave, 4 minutes in the air fryer.
Yeah,
perfect.
There we go. Talking to the expert. It's gluttony. I think gluttony is perhaps one of the most acceptable sins in society. I think a lot of people get away with just excessive living, and no one, everyone kind of goes, well, if that's what he wants to do. Whereas the other ones, I think, are a bit more frowned upon.
Yeah. But gluttony is the main one where you're only really harming yourself.
It's true. Yeah.
Well, unless you're one of these parents that's got kids and you can't move because you're just lying on the couch feeding your face and you're not looking after your kids. But, generally you're just harming yourself, aren't you?
I guess, maybe that is why it's more accepted. So we'll get cracking because I'm extremely tired tonight. It's been a very long week for me. Go away. Yeah. Fire away.
So I've got a wee story actually. I read this years ago, and
And it crossed my mind today, and I thought I'm going to look this up. So this is a story. It's actually a review on Aldi Dominion fruit sweets. So they have Aldi in America.
Do they?
Yeah, I've shopped in Aldi in America. We used to get our batteries for the fans and the bubble machines going to Disney. Just go to Aldi on the way to Disney to get all the cheap batteries.
I love Aldi.
It's a good place. So they do these little sugar-free clear fruit sweets in a little tin, and they do
sugar-free sweets.
Yeah, I know.
What's the point of them?
I know. Rubbish, isn't it? Alcohol-free beer. So I was looking for them online, and I came across this review, and this is well, I'll read you it. It kind of touches on gluttony. It was funny.
Okay.
So the review starts. It was a 1-star review.
Is it on the website, or is it like Amazon? Is it Amazon or something? Is it?
It's on. I found it on some like Reddit or something where someone copied it. And this you can look up this review. It's online. Not made this up.
I do like these reviews.
I am slightly overweight, so I decided to cut down on sugar. Someone had recommended that instead of gorging on food, I should suck a boiled sweet to fill the cravings. I bought some Aldi Dominion sugar-free clear fruit sweets from Aldi. Why should I put that twice? To eat whilst at the pictures with my husband. I started eating them at 7 o'clock when the picture started, and at about 8:30, I thought I had wind and needed to fart. Was I wrong? What came out wasn't gas, it was water. Red hot, obnoxious smelling water.
Obnoxious smelling. Shit itself.
I stood up from my seat and felt a gush of rusty water run down behind my knee. Luckily, it was dark to conceal my waddle, and I hoped my fellow cinema goers thought a sewer pipe had burst. I spent the next hour stuck in the toilet as wave after wave of what felt like sulfuric acid burst from my rectum.
An hour? Imagine in the cinema.
I know.
That's not the first thing you think, is it? Oh, I'm sure a sewer pipe's gone.
I know. Yeah, you think someone shit themselves. Especially if someone waddles out and doesn't come back in. My husband had to send someone looking for me, as I never made it back to the pictures before the picture had finished. Keep saying picture. Must be old. I was a shadow of my former self when I emerged from the bathroom.
I bet. It's lost about 3 stones, so it did the job.
Yeah. Now, the reason that touches on gluttony for me is I've had these sweets and I've had these mints as well, and it does say excessive consumption can produce a laxative effect.
This happened to us, do you remember?
Yeah. Sugar-free polos.
Sugar-free polos. Was it on the coach or the train back from Glasgow?
I don't know. Something like that.
And I ate 2 packets of them, and my stomach started going green. I thought, shit. And I spent about half an hour in the toilet then.
Yeah.
So yeah, it does. They do. And they're not like potent laxatives. I don't think you have to eat a lot. Yeah, of them. So
that's it. She must have hammered them.
Yeah.
Gluttony must have hammered them, sitting munching all these sweets.
Yeah,
our mutual friend Rich, who we've mentioned sometimes, he has a saying. It is, "I might polo it this weekend," which means I'm going to eat a pack of sugar-free polos for a flush through.
Right, empty the system.
Yeah, I'm going to polo it.
You ever had that stuff? Like, so I had a camera up my arse about
Citrafleet.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
I know Billy Connolly did a sketch on it, but it is like, you watch that sketch because it's true. Honestly, you feel like you turn yourself inside out like crazy.
It's like 20 minutes or something as well. This is
like
you take. Yeah.
It's crazy stuff that. Then you can't eat for like 24 hours. That's hell.
Oh, I know. Oh, it's awful. Yeah. But you put it in cold water and it goes hot. It's weird. You put the powder in the cold water and it warms up. This is like NASA shit that you put in. I
didn't notice that. I was at the hospital because I had some problem with my stomach, and they sat me down. It's like lemon flavoured, isn't it?
Yeah.
And they sat me down because they were going to like do a scan. They had to get liquid in my stomach, and then they'd give me like a dye so they could see sort of if anything was blocking it. So they sat me down and said, "Oh, drink that, and then when you finished it, we'll get you into the scan, and you can do the scan." So like just sat down, like necked it, and then she came back. She was like, "Ooh, she drank that quite fast, haven't you?" She said, "Just in case, the toilet's just over there."
Oh, right.
But yeah, I was all right actually that time. It must have been
Yeah.
something slightly less potent. But then when I actually had the camera, that's when I got the real stuff. God,
Yeah.
that is another thing. That
We'll have to put a warning at the start of this in case anyone's eating their dinner before they watch it.
that's a nice story, just so you know. So,
Yeah.
do you know who the heaviest person ever recorded was?
I did. Looked him up. He was like 900 pounds or something.
Yeah, so it's a
I
chap
can't
called
remember.
John Brower Minnock.
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah, and he at his peak he was 100 stone.
I did read about him. You can't believe it.
Yeah, 100. That's like, I think that's just a lot of like four. That's a lot of me.
Yeah.
So 1,400 pounds, 635 kilograms.
Mm-hmm.
That's a big bloke. That
It is.
But he apparently lived like a normal life. I mean, I think he was normally he was around about 60 stone or so.
Right.
And then obviously we've got American listeners now, haven't we? So that's 800 to 900 pounds. What is it in America? Is it pounds or kilograms?
Pounds. They tend to go in pounds. Yeah.
8 to 900 pounds then. Yeah. So yeah, and apparently he lived like quite a normal life. He had had a taxi firm and stuff, and he had a wife and 2 kids. So
everyone had to sit the other side of the taxi to balance it.
Yeah, like the Flintstones when they get that big rib. So I mean, there's someone for everyone, isn't there? So
definitely,
don't lose hope, guys.
Mm-hmm. Just for an example, you said 900 pounds and it's peak 1,400 pounds. In the episode of The Simpsons where Homer gets really fat,
and he gets a Momo,
yeah, his target to get that fat is 300 pounds.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah.
That's where he clogs up the nuclear power plant, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, so I'm glad that wasn't on your list, was it?
No, I looked him up last week because of this episode and I forgot about him.
Yeah, well, there you go. Bit of knowledge for you.
Glad you looked him up.
Yeah, he died young, though. He was 41 when he died. So
younger
than me.
One of my favourite comedians, American guy called Ralphie May, and really funny guy, always right on the edge of what's okay. And he died at like 40 because he was like 400 pounds or something. He was just a huge guy. Sad, really.
Yeah, I mean, like, I don't know, like, I mean, this guy, like, doesn't really say if it must have been like excessive eating, like. You don't get, you don't get big. It wasn't like glandular or like sort of. I don't think it was any sort of medical condition. I think it was just that he was just ate loads, And I don't know how I feel about people like that. Really, I mean, I don't want to say the wrong thing here, but like, just stop. Just don't eat loads of stuff.
Weight's a sensitive issue, and people should never be ridiculed for their weight or anything. But
of course.
I think there is a point where you're not a bit fat, where you're like you're really damaging your health now.
I suppose it's like it's like an addiction, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Like, you just can't stop and stuff.
Yeah,
because I can literally go a day without eating, like no problem really. Yeah, I can because I was doing like for a bit, I was doing like a fasting diet thing. So you'd eat for like 3 days or have a day and then eat pretty much nothing. Maybe like it's like calories. I've like sort of 300 calories or whatever. And the idea is that it's supposed to be like you would be back in the caveman times, because every day you wouldn't have a 3-course meal. You'd have catch a saber-toothed tiger. You'd all eat that one day, and then perhaps you wouldn't catch one for another couple of days.
Yeah.
So because of that, I've sort of trained myself to be able to. I don't do it anymore, but there are days where I just think I can't be asked eating today. I'm just not feeling it. But I mean that's just me, and I suppose that goes the other way, doesn't it? If you're eating breakfast, 11s, lunch, mid afternoon, and you just get into that habit, then I suppose it's perhaps easy to fall into it.
I've been on a diet since just after Christmas, lost half a stone. I'm doing all right with it this year, but one thing I kept telling myself: you're not hungry, you just want food.
Yeah,
you're not hungry. You don't need food. You just want food.
I find like if you have like a drink as well, like maybe like a beer. I mean, like
glasses of water.
A glass of water kind of fills you up a little bit, so it kind of stops. I mean, I'm not giving out dietary advice here. I don't know anything about it, but that's what I found when I was anyway.
Yeah. Never, ever take anything we say as advice.
Never.
That's the one bit of advice I'd give you.
Unless it's law, because I'm a lawyer, don't you know?
Oh, right, yeah. Do you want me to do my little second story?
Oh, yeah, go for it, yeah.
So we've talked about this chap on the podcast before. When you search gluttony, the main guy that always comes up is a guy that I did a whole episode on, Terrari.
Oh, yeah.
We're not forgetting about Terrari, but we've done an episode on him, so he's not getting mentioned tonight.
Go back and listen to it. It's in the it's on the list.
It's good, funny episode, disgusting but funny. So, but this other guy we've mentioned, and he's a chap called Brian Harvey.
Oh yes,
yes. So Brian Harvey was the front man of East 17, but they're a British band.
Yeah. The clue's in the name, isn't it?
East 17.
Yeah, it's postcode, London postcode.
Oh, is it?
E17,
yeah. Well, there we go. Learned something. So Brian Harvey, he had a bit of a mishap when he ran over his own head with his car.
Yeah.
And he put this down to an event of gluttony where, I'll read the story. So Brian Harvey, according to Harvey himself, it all started with an excessive meal. The man reportedly ate 3 giant baked potatoes loaded with tuna, mayonnaise, cheese, and God knows what else. Why 3? Because moderation clearly wasn't his thing. Feeling bloated and sluggish after his carb-heavy feast, Harvey decided he needed some fresh air, but instead of walking like any normal person would do, he got into his car. Here's where it gets ridiculous. Whilst reversing out of his driveway, Harvey claimed he felt sick, probably from the mountain of starchy spuds he'd inhaled. Instead of just stopping the car, he made the genius decision to open the door and lean out to vomit. In doing so, he somehow fell out of the car entirely. Because the vehicle was still in gear, it rolled over him, specifically his head. Yes, that's right, he ran over his own head with his own car.
And he's still alive, I think, isn't he?
Yeah.
He survived that. But it's been 20 years now, and I still don't understand how this has happened.
Well, I think he fell out, and as he fell out, he rolled kind of under the car.
But why is the car still moving?
He'd left it in gear.
But don't do that. Don't.
No, I know.
He's got a blue. He's got a blue plaque, hasn't he?
There's a blue plaque, as where Brian Harvey ran over his own head with his car.
Yeah. So, for non-UK listeners, big heritage sites have blue plaques.
This is where Paul McCartney was born.
Exactly. Yeah, it's like a circular plaque that's put on the place that's something of particular historical significance happened. Like Paul McCartney was born here, blue plaque. John, blah blah blah. Battle of Hastings, blue plaque. Yeah. And this chap has got a blue plaque outside his house where he ate 3 massive baked potatoes and run over himself. Incredible.
So, in short, he did have. He had some injuries, but he survived. And there's some lessons to be learned. Number 1, don't eat 3 baked potatoes in one sitting.
I don't know how you could.
No, I know. Number 2, don't try to drive if you're feeling sick.
And don't lean out.
Yeah, exactly. Don't lean out of a moving car, especially if you're the one driving.
Yeah. See, I hate that. My partner does that a lot.
Oh, really?
She'll pull up, and if I'm getting out or something, or the kids getting out, she won't put the handbrake on. She just sits on the brake.
Oh, right.
And that kind of freaks me out a bit.
Yeah.
Kind of makes me get that. I'm just like, I'll put the handbrake on just while I get out, and then you can. I don't know. It's just me being weird, but it just makes
as well.
It's what.
Did she put it in neutral?
No, I don't think she does. She just leaves it in gear.
On the brake, just in drive. Yeah.
And that's probably what happened there. So. Yeah, that's probably exactly what happened, wasn't it? He just put his foot on the brake, leaned out, slipped, and then that's that. So yeah, I don't know. It's just weird. Me, I've heard other stories where people run themselves over, and I always think, what are you doing?
He must. I mean, he must. What do you think he told the paramedics from the offset what happened, or do you think it was found out later?
You probably worked it out when there's a car in the middle, like halfway down the driveway, and there's just a pool of sick with like tuna and potato everywhere.
True, yeah.
And he's there just curled up in a ball going,
Have you seen the video of the guy in hospital with the toilet brush stuck up his arse? There's some like wee young like doctor or nurse that's having to try and pull it out.
That was off a TV program.
Straight face.
That was off a TV program, which it was like 24 hours in A&E or something.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, I remember watching it when it was on.
Yeah.
It was on years and years ago. It was like about trainee doctors, basically.
Because she was dead young.
Yeah, so when you're a trainee doctor, you have to do sort of like different seats. You know, you do one in A&E, I think. Anyway, correct me if I'm wrong. This is the impression I get. So you have to do a certain bit in different departments, and then you specialise. And I think she was just doing like a section in A&E, and then some guy come in with a toilet brush up his ass. He's like, I slipped and I fell on it.
Yeah. It's like the old story about the guy with a ketchup bottle up his arse, and he tells this long story about climbing up the drain pipe and his trousers coming down, and he'd left his shopping on the floor. And finishes the story, and the doctor goes, "But why is there a condom rolled over the bottle?"
Oh dear.
Yeah.
Being like, just don't do that. Don't put stuff up your ass like that. Or just don't put it all in.
Yeah, just tie a bit of string to one end. It'll be fine. So that's two of my stories. I told you they were my little stories.
Yeah, so I've got one here, which I just sort of briefly looked at. And it is about a young lady, 22 years old. So the story is from 2015.
That's brilliant, because mine's not about a young lady, my last story. So,
right. It's probably, I don't know. I imagine we've both got the same thing here. So it's a 22-year-old woman. She was Britain's fattest teenager. And she has to be lifted from her flat by a crane.
Jesus.
Yeah, so
I'm just picturing a big crowd, and she's flying across above them in like some big harness, like a big baby bouncer, getting like
it's
fucking.
Sad, really.
Yeah.
So Georgia Davis,
dead or alive?
I think she's because she had to go into hospital for surgery because she was too big. Right. So Georgia Davis from Aberdare in South Wales. It took 12 emergency vehicles to go to the scene. The roads had to be closed. French doors of the flat had to be removed so they could get the winch in. And then they eventually got her out and airlifted her to hospital, where she had an operation on her stomach to try and reduce the amount of food she was eating. Just having a quick look here.
That annoys me a little bit, because now if she was my daughter or my sister, or someone that I cared about, I'd want her life saving, but that's like tens and tens of thousands of pounds worth of emergency for someone that's just chosen to eat a load of shit.
Done it to herself. That's why when I said I'm not sure how I feel about it. Obviously, you don't want people to die and stuff. Well, I don't, because I'm a nice person, but it costed a lot of money, like.
But could they not have just stopped the source? Just stop food going into her flat? Yeah. Well, not starve her, but, there's 6 sachets of porridge.
I think...
No more chips through your front door.
I think the problem was I don't think she could move.
Right.
So, she started getting some bed sores and stuff. So I don't think
she's been getting to the fridge then.
Maybe it's a flat. Maybe she could just reach it. But we've got a bedside grill.
Yeah.
Don't know. I just came across it. Thought that might be quite interesting. So, yeah.
Was that your story?
Well, it's just a newspaper article I came across. But it's from ages ago as well, so I don't even know what she's doing now. She used to order up to 20 kebabs each week from a takeaway.
Yeah. Bloody hell.
20 kebabs.
I couldn't afford that.
I know. That's bad, isn't it?
Yeah. Never mind, wanting to eat it. I couldn't afford that. It's another thing that annoys me.
That's like nearly 3 kebabs a day. I mean, I like kebabs as much as the next person, but 3 a day.
See, I went all inclusive many years ago on a holiday, and the food was a bit shit. And one of the things that was always there was pizza and chips, right? And then they'd have one night paella and one night something else. And I'm really funny and fussy with food. And I thought, that's fine. Pizza and chips, I can eat that. And it got to about the sixth night, and I went to lift a bit of pizza and put it on my plate, and I actually went, I thought, I just can't, I can't eat another slice of pizza.
More pizza, yeah.
Yeah. And it was just that repetition. I can't do it. I mean, I was having other things, but my main meal was pizza and chips. And
yeah, you do get. I know what you mean. Yeah,
so, I can't do this, and that's why, like, as much as you love something like kebabs, imagine having them like
three times a day.
There
are different types of kebabs, though. You can mix it up.
Bet she did.
Yeah, I know, yeah, or everything on it.
There's a guy I'm going to look up. Just you freestyle with something. Talk about kebabs. What's your favourite?
I'm going to get a kebab tonight, actually, after this.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, there's a really nice one that I get. It's like a mixed kebab. Well, that's pretty much everything on it.
I'm banned from all that sort of stuff. I'm on my diet now. So.
Oh, yeah, so you didn't have your curry tonight, then?
No, I haven't had any dinner tonight, actually. Shit. I forgot. But no, I've been buying the little spice tailor. You know, the curry mix where you get like you get some spices and you get a little packet, the sauce. Oh, yeah. You get some like Thai curries, massaman and Thai green curries, and just having it with a little bit of corn because I'm vegetarian these days. And it's it's a lot cheaper and it's a lot less fattening. So
it's not, though, because it's not cheaper than buying the actual spices.
No.
If you bought the spices are like £1 each for a jar, so you're better off just going in and going, right, what's in, and just building up a spice section in your house and then just doing that.
Yeah. True,
that'll be cheaper.
Cheaper than ordering a curry, though. So I'm going in the right direction.
Yeah, you're in the middle.
I wanted to mention a guy called Don Gorski, who is an American world record holder known as the Ultimate Big Mac Fan. Have you heard of him?
Oh, maybe, yeah.
Yeah, he is 71. And he has eaten over 34,128 Big Macs. And he's kept the wrapper for every single one of them.
Does he? That's pretty impressive.
Yeah. He looks like he should have his laptop checked, to be honest. But he's not like a big fat man or anything. He looks pretty normal.
Did he have one every day?
3 a day. I'm just trying to remember diet. For the month. An average of 8.5 Big Macs a day.
8?
8.5 a day, yeah. Yeah. That was for a period of time. He's down to 3 a day now.
3 is even excessive. They're pretty expensive these days, Big Macs as well.
Yeah. So, yeah. Is that gluttony or is that just someone that loves Big Macs?
That's gluttony. 8 a day? Yeah. That's insane.
Yeah, good looking fella.
Well,
See what I mean about his hard drive.
What's going on with that hair?
Yeah,
it's it's like a bowl head, but with a ponytail.
He's trying to look like a Big Mac.
Yeah, he doesn't look a bit like a bit like you are what you eat.
Yeah. So that. Oh, you were telling the story. No, I was. Who was telling the story?
You just told me the story about the Big Mac guy.
That was it. Yeah. Oh God, what a mess.
That's 8 a day. That's. Yeah. I mean, he's not big though, is he? He's not like a.
No, he looks.
He's not 100 stone,
no.
Which is quite surprising.
But if he was just eating that and not eating loads of sweets and other shit as well, I know Big Mac's got fat in it, but it is meat and it's got cheese and it's got it's not like eating. There's worse stuff to eat.
It's about calories, isn't it? Calorie intake.
Yeah.
So I mean, that must be pretty high though.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, did you ever watch that film like Super Size Me?
I've never seen it, but I know all about it. Yeah.
So
Did he really die?
Yeah, he wasn't very well. Yeah, like McDonald's for like 30 days straight, nothing else. And like, I don't know. Like, I think there's been reports after the event. This was 20 years ago now. I think he's dead now.
Okay.
But after the event, that it was fabricated, for TV and stuff. And I don't know how true it was. But, we went to the doctors after the 30 days, and the doctor was like, "You've got to stop. You're going to die."
Cholesterol was way up and stuff.
Yeah. So I don't know how true it was, but I mean, that's what that guy's doing basically, unless he's eating other stuff as well. But if you're eating 8 Big Macs, how much? You can't be that much room left to eat other stuff.
It's a lot of Big Macs.
Mm.
But yeah, but I mean, you'd be made up if he was in your local town and you ran a McDonald's, wouldn't you?
I guess so. Yeah. All right, Bob.
Yeah. Guaranteed income, isn't it?
Yeah, but imagine. I wonder how much you won on the
Monopoly.
Monopoly, yeah.
So, James, I've got one more story, and it's a little bit more kind of back from the past. It's not just a funny review about someone shitting themselves. I was looking for. I typed in, famous people, gluttony, and blah blah blah. Have you noticed if you actually type in a lot of stuff about eating loads of food, you get loads of like, "Have you got an eating disorder?" Phone number immediately. And like self-help things and everything. Yeah. So, but I found this guy, and it was interesting because although I've never lived a day in Glasgow in my life, I feel like Glasgow's my home. It's where my family are from and stuff. Mm-hmm. And this is a guy from Glasgow, and I actually knew the pub, but we'll come on to that. There's a chap called Rab Ha. So R-A-B, like Rab C. Nesbitt, and Ha as in H-A. Known as the Glasgow Glutton.
Oh, right. Okay. Fitting.
Yeah. So he's a legendary figure from 19th century Glasgow folklore. His real name was Robert Hall, and he gained infamy for his extraordinary appetite and ability to devour incredible amounts of food in one sitting. Though the details of his life are often shrouded in myth, the tales about him have cemented his place in Scottish lore as a symbol of gluttony and humour. So, it's believed he was real, but it's one of those have the stories about him growing legs.
Right. So when was it from?
19th century Glasgow, 1800s.
Yeah. Right.
So Robert Hall was born in the early 1800s in Glasgow, Scotland.
There we go. There you go. You just told us.
Right. From a young age, he was said to have a massive appetite that astonished his family and neighbours. By adulthood, his reputation for eating enormous quantities of food was well known across the city. Rab Ha reportedly took part in eating competitions where he would out-eat anyone brave enough to challenge him. One famous story tells of a butcher who invited Rab to a feast, thinking he could finally meet his match. Instead, Rab consumed an entire sheep.
Wow.
Washed down with several loaves of bread and gallons of ale, leaving the butcher speechless and out of pocket.
Whole sheep. That's pretty good going, isn't it?
It sounds a bit like the Terrari guy.
Yeah,
I don't think he was a big fat guy. I think he could just put away food. Yeah. Another tale
with the Terrari fella. Did we establish if it was like just like a medical condition? I can't remember.
I think so. There's a condition where you don't absorb food. So food is just basically just mushed up and straight back out again.
Yeah. So you can just end up eating loads of stuff.
Yes, you have to eat like 10 times the quantity to get the same nutrition that a normal person would get.
Yeah.
Another tale claims that Rab once devoured 52 hard-boiled eggs in one sitting, astonishing the onlookers. His appetite was not just a source of entertainment, but also an annoyance to some, as he often ate others out of house and home.
You go around someone's house to clear them out.
It's all right if Rab comes round for his dinner tonight, Mum. No, fuck off.
No chance.
Sling your hook. So there's an incident called the pub incident. One of the most enduring stories about Rab Ha involves a pub owner who offered him an all-you-can-eat deal, not realising the mistake he was making. If someone's got a reputation for eating shitloads of stuff,
don't give him all you can eat.
No, it's stupid, really. It's his own fault.
You can actually get kicked out of all you can eat. And in fact, it was on The Simpsons as well. It was another Simpsons thing, which was all you can eat, and he ended up getting kicked out, and he sued him. Yeah, but that does happen in real life. If you got a big appetite and you go to all you can eat and you're eating too much, they do say, "Sorry, you'll have to go."
Isn't it the fair use policy or something?
I think so. Yeah,
it's a bit like unlimited internet. It's not really unlimited if you just cane it.
Yeah.
Rab reportedly ate so much that the pub owner begged him to stop, even offering to pay Rab just to leave. This incident is said to have solidified his nickname as the Glasgow Glutton.
Begged him to stop. Please stop eating all my food.
There's maybe a point where you run out of food, though, isn't there?
Yeah.
Starts eating chairs and tables and stuff. Despite his fame, Rab Ha's life wasn't easy. His eating habits, whilst entertaining to others, likely took a toll on his health. Stories suggest he died in poverty, a victim of his own excesses. Some versions of the tale claim he choked to death during one of these infamous feasts, while others say he succumbed to an illness exacerbated by his gluttony. Today, Rab Ha's story is remembered as a part of Glasgow's colourful history. A pub in the city, Rab Ha's, is named in honour, paying tribute to the man whose appetite was as big as his legend. Though much of this story is lightly embellished, Rab Ha remains a symbol of indulgence and the rich storytelling tradition of Scotland. The tale of Rab Ha, the Glasgow Glutton, is a humorous, cautionary tale about the perils of excess, wrapped in the charm of Scottish folklore.
So I want to know why Brian Harvey has got a blue plaque and this guy hasn't.
This guy's got a Glasgow pub.
He's got a pub.
Quite
I
cool.
mean, yeah, but you should have a blue plaque outside the pub. There we go then.
I've not looked it up, but I'd like to think that Rab Ha's, the pub, is famous for big portions.
Yeah,
if you're going to call a pub Rab
mega
Ha's,
meals.
You know, when you go to America and you can have a side of onion rings and they come with a fucking huge bucket with like 48 onion rings in it.
Yeah.
Like that sort of thing.
It should be, shouldn't it? Like a big eat place. All you can eat.
One of those challenges where it's like, if you finish this meal, you get it for free. You know, like the Rab Ha special, where it's like 6 steak pies and stuff like that, and you got to eat it all.
But yeah, I think you've got something going there. If it's not, you should take it over and introduce it.
Definitely, yeah, I've got time for that.
Right.
So I've really enjoyed that, actually.
Well, I just want to make one final note, actually.
Go on.
Because I did mention at the beginning, it's not just food, it's drink as well.
Yeah,
and this is really going off topic a little bit, but I thought I'd throw it in because it's quite funny. So I'm going to talk just a short story about a chap called Paul Gascoigne. Now, you know Paul Gascoigne.
Oh, well, yeah.
An ex Glasgow Rangers player, so close to your heart. He was a fantastic footballer, and obviously he had problems with alcohol abuse, substance abuse, which is never sad. But he also did beat up his wife, so it's kind of one of them. But he is revered in this country, I reckon, in the UK, as kind of a bit of a funny guy. You know, it's tragic what happened to him and stuff like that. So I did have a little look as to some of his sort of, and I do recommend if anybody gets a chance to have a look at some of Paul Gascoigne's funnier stories, because he's just a bit of a mad bastard.
Yeah.
So one that I come across, which I thought was quite funny, and this is, like I say, it's quite unrelated to gluttony, but I'll throw it in there because Paul Gascoigne was essentially an alcoholic at some point in his life. I don't know if he still is.
You always are.
Yeah, I guess.
He gets tattoos now. That's his.
Oh, does he? Yeah.
Feels that he's going to fall off the wagon. He goes and gets a tattoo because that's sort of.
Right, yeah.
So he's getting a tattoo.
I know he's been in and out of rehab over the years, hasn't he? And things like that. So I just thought I'd perhaps throw a bit of humour in there and just tell you a little bit, a very short tale. I'm going to wrap this one now about Paul Gascoigne. So in 1992, Paul Gascoigne signed for Lazio. And at the same time, a chap called Aaron Winter joined Lazio from Ajax. Aaron Winter's a Dutch international, if you know your 90s football. I think he played for them in the 94 World Cup. So Aaron Winter says on his first day, he was in his hotel room and someone knocked on the door. Winter opened the door and it was Paul Gascoigne standing there half naked with a bottle of champagne to welcome him to the club.
Wow. So
later in the season, Aaron Winter, he got more than he bargained for when he visited a local restaurant with his wife. He says, Paul was in the same restaurant with his girlfriend, although I didn't notice him at first. When Paul finished his meal, he told the waiter, my friend Aaron will pay. But the waiter didn't believe him. So Paul Gascoigne called over to Aaron, gave him a little wave. Aaron. And when Aaron saw him, he also waved back. All right, Paul. So Paul Gascoigne said to the waiter, there you go, see? I told you he was going to pay. And left the restaurant. Aaron Winter says, when I finished my meal, I was shocked because when I got the bill, it was quite high, and I hadn't eaten that much. But then I realised what happened.
What a bastard.
So that's Paul Gascoigne. There's loads of those anecdotes type stories. So
I know you're desperate to go, but just the sort of guy he was. There was a chap, Girano Gattuso, joined Rangers when Gascoigne was there.
I saw that one as well, yeah.
Yeah, like 16, 17-year-old boy, not a pot to piss in. And he was told he needed a particular suit to wear. Rangers tradition, you've got to wear it. You go to training wearing a full suit, and then you get in your training gear when you get there. It's just tradition. And he didn't have any money. Paul Gascoigne said, there's a shop in Glasgow. You go in there, they put them on your account, they take out your wages over time. It's fine. And Gaza took him into this suit shop, 2-3 grand's worth of suits. Guy goes away with him, Gattuso. He found out years later that Paul had actually just paid for the suits.
Oh, for real, yeah.
He just bought them himself. There was no account. There was no
way.
Taking out your wages or anything like that. Gaza just basically lied to him to kit him out with a few suits, and he paid for it out of his own money.
There we go.
So, good heart.
Yeah. It wasn't the story I was thinking of, actually. The story I was thinking of was that, so Gaza being at Lazio, then he went to Rangers, didn't he?
Yeah.
So he could speak a little bit of Italian. And then Gattuso...
yeah, I know this.
Gattuso joined the club, and I think it was Walter Smith at the time, said they were doing a training session, and Gattuso was just flying into tackles. And Walter Smith...
Before a Celtic game.
Was it, yeah. And Walter Smith was getting pretty frustrated because he was thinking, I'm going to get someone injured. He's going to get someone injured. So he said to Paul Gascoigne, can you speak to him in Italian and just tell him to chill out and just slow down a bit? But Paul Gascoigne told him the opposite and said that the manager wants you to go really hard in these tackles and just give it 100%. And he ended up just flying. I think Walter Smith ended up just bollocking the pair of them, I think.
Yeah. Right. My wife and daughters are on their way back from cheerleading and going to burst through this door any minute. So I'm going to call this a night.
Yeah, and I want a kebab after all this talk.
I've really enjoyed it. It's been good. And it's going to be the draw next week.
Oh, yeah, with maybe something slightly different, a special surprise.
A special surprise. Don't get your hopes up.
But
it could be good. Yeah, we'll see. Definitely listen.
Yeah, thank you so much for listening. Really appreciate it. Really big thanks to all those folks over the other side of the pond.
Yes.
Obviously, we're getting a decent following over there, so really, really do appreciate it. If you're first time listening, give us 5 stars. If you want to give us less, don't bother reviewing and all that. So good to see you again, Fraser, and I'll speak to you next week.
You too. Enjoy your kebab, pal.
Cheers. Good night.
See you. Bye-bye. I'll tell you a wee story. Do you remember my dad's friend Jim Loy had 2 boys, Stuart and Andrew? I don't know if you ever remember.
Oh, yeah.
Stuart Loy. Kind of computer nerd. It was a bit.
Yeah. I met
computer nerd.
Stuart, I think, back in the day, yeah.
Well, we used to go to the Lake District, Keswick and places like that, because it was halfway. They lived in Glasgow, we lived in Chester. We used to meet them in the Lake District on a Friday, spend a couple of days, do a bit of hill walking and stuff like that, and then they go back to Glasgow, we come back to Chester. And I was round about, it was the time I was in about year 6 in school. Used to be into the Doc Marten boots, the tartan shirts and all that, the gelled hair, Lynx deodorant and all that. And
cool.
we were walking up this mountain, me, my dad, Stuart, his dad, the mums and stuff. And me and Stuart were sort of walking up ahead, as you do when you're that age. And I was walking in my Doc Martens, my black jeans, a tartan shirt. He had his cords and his wax cotton jacket. So I'm walking up, and he's, Mr. Mountain Climber. And I've got a bottle of Coca-Cola in my pocket, so I'm drinking my Coke. And he pulls out one of those, like an American canteen, a canteen with a compass on the front. And he's got his, so he's got his canteen. He's gone, you shouldn't be drinking Coke. Coke's bad for you because it's got caffeine. It gives you this false energy, and then it actually dehydrates you, Fraser. You need to drink water. You need to replenish your water when you're walking up a mountain.
Were you hiking with Ned Flanders and family?
He was like Ned Flanders. He was like, the guy's actually like a millionaire living in Singapore now, so I can't really slight him too much. Made some better life choices.
You probably shouldn't say his name, actually. He'll sue you.
No, he won't be listening to this. Better stuff to do. So he's saying, no, you drink water, you don't drink Coke. And I don't want water. Water sucks. So we're walking up, and he finishes his canteen, and he walks over to a little stream, beautiful little stream, and he fills it up from the stream. Starts drinking it. I'm going, like, that's disgusting. That's like that's stream water. That's rank. And he's going, no, it's fine, because that's exactly what spring water is. Spring water, It comes out the mountains, it's filtered through the rocks, and as long as it's running, it's clean. So he fills his canteen up and he's guzzling it. And I'm like, nah, I'm all right, mate.
I think I know where this is going, to be honest.
So we walk up a little bit further. He's drinking his drink. Nice hot sunny day. Fills it up from the stream, drinking it again. And sure, you don't want it? I said, no, I'm fine. Sure. He's going, listen, it's crystal clear. It's fine. It's lovely. Walk up about another 10 minutes. And we'll go around this corner. In the middle of the stream's a big dead bloated sheep. And he was spitting his water out and vomiting. Oh yeah, filtered through the heather. Filtered through the heather, beautiful.